Into Geek, episode 26. We're talking season 2, episode 4, The Gamekeeper, gentlemen. My name is Mitch Lewis. Joining me, the full Get Into Geek team, Matty Gibson.
Hi.
Hey.
What's the matter, buddy?
No, what happened throughout the week?
We just got here. What is wrong?
No,
Are you okay, Day?
The last couple of weeks, I've just been talking too much of the intro, so I was just going to keep it subtle and just quick.
And now look.
See,
Keep it short, mate.
I go long, I get shit. I go short, I get shit.
You're definitely fixing it now.
Sally Fletcher over here.
Over to the other side of the table, Brendan Gibson.
Hello.
And Rhys Gibson.
Hi.
Now, Rhys is the reason we are here. If you're joining us for the first time, Brendan, Maddie, myself, long-term Stargate lovers. Rhys, he is new to the series, has been since the start of the podcast. That's why we started it. We said, you get into it. We're going to relive it, re-love it as you watch it. And we're going to come in here and talk about it. Fresh eyes, old eyes, and just talk about all things Stargate. And we are talking The Gamekeeper, boys. So we'll just revert, as we do at the start of every episode, to the DVD synopsis. Exploring a strange and beautiful garden in a distant world, the team members are trapped, knocked unconscious, and forced to relive their most haunting memories. Now, before they can attempt to find their way home, they must find their way back to reality.
Guys! Kowalski's back!
Yeah.
My dreams have come true. This was very reminiscent to Tin Man for me.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, the Gamekeeper felt like once we got exposed to him, which, in fairness, unlike Tin Man, was a lot later. But
Yeah,
Come try hard.
I think for me, it was just that secrecy behind what the hell is going on. And, man, it was just a cool episode. I liked it.
See, do you know what I couldn't cop? Was the Gamekeeper's outfit. I was like, come on, man.
He's an alien.
It just made it unrealistic.
Yeah, don't forget the awesome PlayStation VR console.
And
The Matrix.
so ahead of their time.
that weird spiral thing on his head that was kind of like the logo, and it's like when you were inside the virtual reality, you had to look for that logo to get out. They made that like the symbol on the Stargate for their point of origin.
Yeah, that was stupid.
And I was like,
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I really didn't, so I won't judge the episode
didn't.
accordingly.
I did. But this episode,
I didn't this time, but I had seen it before.
Yeah, this episode had everything to me because the guy who plays the Gamekeeper, Dwight Schultz, is a TV legend. Like, he's been in some amazing sci-fi shows.
Like what?
He was also in the A-Team.
Yeah,
He was,
that's not sci-fi though. I don't
What
know
did you
what else are
mean
you
by
talking about?
also?
He was, I don't know. Just
Fast
IMDb.
Kate?
Mate, don't come with facts if you don't actually have facts.
If you're not going to
Oh, no,
be
I've got
yourself,
facts.
don't bother
He
coming.
was Howling Mad Murdoch in the A-Team.
Yep.
He's like the original Howling Mad Murdoch in the A-Team.
That's good.
That means nothing to me.
You've seen that shitty A-Team reboot, haven't you?
Hey, don't call that shitty. I love that movie.
Yeah, that-
unapologetically ridiculous.
The new
I love
Mr. T was
everything.
awesome.
Really?
So good.
He was
he
a
like-
UFC fighter. He did pretty good for a UFC fighter.
Yeah. Now, for anyone who's new to the show,
I hope he doesn't hear me say that.
Rampage Jackson. For anyone new to the show, Maddie is not allowed to mention the show that he has so far not mentioned, though continually alluded to. Star Trek. He's a mad Star Trekkie. Trekker.
Yeah, God forbid that's a
I know, it's another thing,
half-hour
yeah.
conversation
Yeah, I
there
know.
between Trekkie
That's
and
why
Trekker.
we're trying to cover both bases.
But
So
yeah, God
we
forbid,
don't know.
God
and we
forbid I
don't
mention
care.
the most popular sci-fi TV series in the world
Oh, I'm
while
glad
we're,
you said
Stargate.
TV.
while
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
sitting
yeah.
here talking about another sci-fi TV series.
Whoa, hey, don't get defensive,
'Cause,
mate.
like- 'cause,
I'm just
yeah,
saying that once you mention it once, you sort of go off onto weird tangents, unlike now,
I
obviously.
just feel like I
We're
just can't
just
be one of the
explaining
guys
to the
around
listeners.
these guys.
Calm down.
You have to be like the only Stargate fans I know that are in the Venn diagram of enjoy Stargate, don't enjoy Star Trek. It's just, to me, those two things go part.
We love the movies.
They go part and parcel.
the new movies. We love the new movies.
Oh, Sylar. How good Sylar.
Yeah.
Love Sylar.
I mean, JJ made it what it was always supposed to
Yeah.
be. Hey, Maddie? Hey?
I'm glad he made it with better action
Yeah.
and way less talking.
Because you can't make a cerebral Star Trek these days anyway, so
You wouldn't
just,
even bother.
Just...
I think
I think I've hit everything Maddie
it was
was
perfect the way it was.
Anyway.
Shit on X-Men while you're here. Just shit on X-Men while you're here. Just go for it.
Mate,
It's
Brett
fine.
Ratner. I mean, if he hadn't come along, I'd have given up on the franchise a long time ago.
Oh, God!
No, you didn't think I could do it, but I raised that bar. You're welcome. Look, no, the Gamekeeper, I think the same, Rhys. For me, out of the 4 episodes so far, this is probably the weakest for me so far. last week with Prisoners, the first half of it, first 2/3 of it, really struggled, but the ending sort of saved it for me. It sort of justified, I guess, what preceded it. The Gamekeeper, though, was a bit like Tin Man, because once he showed up and was so flamboyant about everything, and he was just so okay with everything that he was doing and couldn't sort of see past his own sort of that one dimension of himself, I'm just like, I'm frustrated with you, and I'm just kind of pissed off.
He didn't have the charm of Harlan. Harlan was just
Sure.
jolly. Come
Yeah,
on.
Harlan was
At the
great.
end of the day, Harlan was harmless. Like, he was jolly and happy, and he was doing things for the right reason. He was happy. Whereas, like,
Didn't stop me from wanting to murder
the
him.
Gamekeeper was like just this anal, retentive, like high-strung douche.
They should have made
Yeah,
him like
control
more villainous.
Well, yeah, either make him like a flat-out villain, or make him more like Harlan, where he's kind
Where
of
they had to kill him at the
he's
end.
doing things for the right reason, or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was just, I just couldn't. And like I said, I love Dwight Schultz, but I couldn't cop the Gamekeeper.
What I did love, though, because I love these episodes, where you can explore an alternative reality or time travel, and that's basically what this was a merge of the two. That was themselves as adults, obviously embodying the other people, if you can call them that, in these projections, were seeing them in their old bodies. Daniel was still a little boy to his parents in his visions, but so it was kind of like time travel meets alternative reality, and just the constant loop.
Yeah.
And
Although, who was Carter, and what the hell was she wearing? That weird Aztec-y...
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Now, what did they say about Carter in reference to
'cause of
Jean?
Jolena.
Something
The
that,
Naquadah
Because of
in her blood.
Jolena, and like, so because of the Naquadah, and then because of Teal'c being a Jafar, they apparently couldn't access their memories.
yeah.
Honestly, like the Jack storyline, I could snooze through that. Like that.
That was good the first time I saw it. The first time
Yeah,
I saw
I
it
think there
was
was
good.
too many repeats.
Yeah, I
that
liked it.
writing rule of you don't want to repeat something more than 3 times.
well, they only
Jackson-
repeated it twice, though. He
No,
ran through the
it's-
thing
No.
twice, and then he
Times,
sent them
three.
off on the third time, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
did-
Because they
Maybe
were
it just
behind
felt
the
like-
hedges
Oh,
on the
no,
roof.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, whatever it was.
But it was a double up. It's like, well,
Yeah.
you went through
Oh.
so many times with Jack, and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
also
with
went through so
Daniel.
many times with Daniel. The Daniel part of it, I loved because it was that it tugged on my
sick
heartstrings.
Oh,
bastard.
no way. That
That
pissed me off.
emotion.
That annoyed me so bad. Like, he just literally sat there and shouted out like a little boy. Like,
Oh,
he
he didn't even
hadn't-
shout.
Well, that's because
Dude,
he's reliving his memory as a little boy.
Yeah, but after the whole experience that you've had, 20 odd years of life and traveling to different galaxies and
No, but
dimensions, and like as if you wouldn't have the courage to go, hey, mum, get the out of there. You're about to die. Or just go up, grab them, yank them out.
didn't he try that? Wasn't
he
he
tried
trying to
that,
pull
and
him?
they
No,
dismissed
he
him, and they had
the first-
someone else pull him away.
No. I think you're giving him too much credit there. The first one, he sat there and goes, guys, they're dead. Second one, he walked up and said, oh, guys, excuse me. No, can you please...
Danny.
And he hushed him away. He didn't even touch him. He's just like, just wait. Can you... No, dead. So, like, wouldn't you just go up, like, grab him by the scruff of the collar and go, I don't want to see his die, like, 4 times.
Well, see, the
Bring him back out.
subtext I read behind that is Daniel
Didn't have the power.
Daniel wasn't himself. He was reliving a childhood memory, so he was in that mindset. He didn't have... Because
Not completely, though, because
if
he
you
was still
think-
able to reason with what was going on
Yeah.
as his adult self.
After a couple of times.
Yeah,
when
and
he
that's what I think
finally
what Rhys is frustrated about was that
accumulated to it.
after
Okay.
he realised 5 or 6 times that it wasn't real, but that he still didn't want to witness it, and he was still kind of trying to stop it.
Also, why the didn't Carter get in there and do it then?
Yeah, well, to me, this was the down point for the episode is Teal'c and Carter were wasted. I wanted to see...
Well, I don't know. We saw Teal'c with hair. That was pretty sweet.
I think you mean Thomas.
Yeah.
Thomas has been on this team longer than you, Jack. Off, mate. Jack O'Neill, bitch.
I just feel like they were kind of a little bit... I would have loved to have seen, a little bit of their backstory. Can you imagine if this episode was actually in Teal'c's mind and we actually got to see a flashback of him, just serving,
they
serving
wasted that.
Apophis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How cool would that flashback
That could have been a really interesting way to explore his backstory.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
this isn't me just, trying to bait you, but what I was really...
there's a shocker.
No,
But if I do, that's just a bonus.
But what I found myself thinking was, again, watching this show for the first time, or this episode for the first time in years and years, I forgot that we didn't explore Teal'c and didn't explore Carter.
Yeah, you're waiting for it to come on.
Yeah, you are waiting
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
So you saying that them repeating Jack so many times on top of repeating Jackson so many times, would you like to have seen, 2 repeats for Jack, 2 repeats for Daniel, and then 2 repeats for Teal'c, 2 repeats
Could
for
have done
Carter.
it cleverly.
I just didn't like the idea of a repeat. It's the whole premise is he's trying to the Gamekeeper is trying to entertain the other, what do you call them, patrons or visitors or whatever they were. Why would they want to see the same thing over and over and over and over?
Clearly,
But that's the point.
Well, no, he plays it up. It's like, oh well, these are the moments in your life that you want to, change. Why does he care about what Jack and Daniel are trying to do? He's trying to keep his patrons entertained. Why would he not just be taking them on a whirlwind tour of some of their greatest memories?
Basically,
Because he explained that because obviously
You just want a clip show.
they've been they've been in that situation for however many years. They've gone through each individual through all their memories throughout the past. So it's just basically it's repeats for them. So having new people, they obviously want to see what they can do in each situation. So he wants to basically stretch out each situation as much as he can because they're basically going to live off these 2 new people in the game for the next 100, 200 years.
Yeah, I get that, but the problem I had is the way that they wrote off that they couldn't use Teal'c or Carter. They were never going to explore Teal'c or Carter because of Naquadah.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, see, to me that
I think they're trying to continue on with the story that now Carter is immune to things like Teal'c is.
Yeah.
They do continue along those lines.
yeah, there's definitely like we were talking about in either Line of Duty. It's an ongoing thing for Carter for the next couple of seasons. Is this after effect of Jolinar?
But isn't it stupid? Like the second, what was it? 2 episodes ago, they have to remind you. Ugh, Jolinar.
Also, can I just point out, this is the 3rd episode this season that they've been captured. They got captured in the first episode where Braytac set them free. Obviously, in the prison.
The Line of Duty Carter was in jail.
And then, the little Matrix machines caught them.
Yeah.
Captured them.
They suck.
They really do, man.
Even with the Jolinar reference, there's nothing to suggest that either of those 2 episodes couldn't have fallen a couple of more episodes apart from each other, really. They are very standalone-ish. They could have peppered in a few other more action-orientated ones or earthbound ones or just, hey, they go there and have to try and solve a political issue or cure a disease like they've done before in season 1. Like, you're right, a capture episode. What are we going to do? Another capture episode, but this one's all in the mind.
Not to ruin it, but next week's episode, they get captured again.
God damn. They need to be like SG2 or 3 now. They suck.
They keep escaping. So that's good.
Where's that Marine from last
SG3
episode?
wouldn't escape.
Halfway through the episodes, they tell the Gamekeeper after he reveals himself, they go, look, we're jack of this, seriously. Like, we're not into it. Let's go home. And he's like, all right, I'm frustrated by it. But you can go home.
Yeah, if he continued with different storylines, not just repeating, he would have been able to keep them there and confused longer.
Yeah, I feel like they could have just been...
Yeah, rather than reveal himself.
Yeah, they could have felt like maybe they were time jumping. Because there was a moment at the start where they sort of, Jack and Teal'c sort of looked at each other and I forget which one questioned the other and said, is there a chance this is real? We don't know. Obviously, Jackson could have looked at himself and went, I look like a man. But Jack, for all intents and purposes, looked the same 13 years earlier or whatever. So, you're right. It actually would have been better to have even failed the mission, failed it differently, and then to jump to another mission or jump to him at home, jump to his son for, God forbid, that's surely that would be like, maybe that was a little too, but that's the thing though, like if there's one, Daniel's key event in his life that he has wanted to change more than anything else is the death of his parents. Yeah. And as a young boy who's grown up to be a man, as an orphan, you understand why that would be the one thing you'd want to change. Yeah. Surely Jack losing his child to his own handgun is probably the thing he wants to change.
Yeah,
just go more.
Yeah. He played with the blue crystal and now he's over it.
That's what I mean. Like, I banged on last season a lot about him getting closure as that part of his character very early on, but surely not that much closure that when he's actually presented with a mental scenario where he's able to possibly change that, at least in the first time around, that it's like a random mission where his captain died.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's weird. There was one little gem that I was able to pull out of this. Daniel poses an interesting question that I want to pose to you guys.
I mean, imagine if you were locked in a room for 1,000 years with only a VCR, TV, and 5 movies. How long could you watch those 5 movies until you were bored silly?
Obviously, for you, Maddie, the first 3 of the Star Trek reboot series.
And Lord of the
Throw it-
Rings.
why
I
can't
would
I
have
throw
said
at
Lord
you
of the Rings.
without damaging.
Oh,
any
Lord of the
everything
Rings.
out.
God, yeah.
At least
Just
you'd
that
have 9 hours there.
Yep.
So, oh god, my question. So my question for you guys is: okay, let's put it in not 1,000 years, but let's just say, okay, you're gonna be put in like a biodome for a year, and the TV couldn't connect to an aerial, so it was only connected to a DVD player. No Netflix, no internet, no social media, no newspapers, nothing. You've got 5 movies you can take in with you. Which do you take?
I feel like that is already my DVD collection. Like I've got hundreds on that wall, and I reckon 95% of them don't get watched. You know,
Well, the hard thing for me when I was trying to figure out my list
Do we have to
is
take our family in that dome?
You're in there on your own.
it changes the rating of the movies that you can
no,
take
no.
in. You know?
I don't want Frozen.
That's my question. Is okay. So let's.
Peppa
When I
Pig.
was writing my list, we need to establish before we give out our lists. Does porn count?
I
Because
was just about to say,
Yeah.
mine's
Because-
easy. It's just porn.
big dog's got to eat. So
You need a porn.
Gotta be porn.
that counts.
5 pawns.
Okay. Well then, Star Wars.
5 pawns.
Well, I'm crossing out Star Wars from my list and putting porn. That's
No,
my
can
list.
you do?
Star Wars themed porn.
Can you do make your own compilation DVD?
Ooh.
Oh, a
5
clip
movies.
show.
No, I'm talking about porn.
Oh yeah. Well, that's fine.
Strangely, we're kind of answering it
Yeah.
seriously.
It's only a year, guys.
when you
come on.
brought this up, I meant to write it all down, and unfortunately, I didn't. But the one that came to mind when you wrote that text was Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction. You know, strangely about Pulp Fiction. As much as I do like the movie, I've never seen it from start to finish.
Well, that's what you think, but you probably have because
Well,
it's
yeah, 'cause
so,
the way it's told,
the way
yeah.
it's edited.
Yeah.
That's why I can rewatch it because I'll come in halfway through and go, "Oh, I missed this bit,"
Oh, mate.
but it's still coming.
You
And
get
I'm
to
like,
the get to the diner dance scene, and I can turn off from there. Like I'm done. I'm done once I get to that scene. I'm like,
Which
it's like
one?
The $5 shake dance scene, in the diner. After that, there's the whole Bruce Willis story, and I'm like, I'm out.
Well, I had the idea of maybe doing it like we did our all put in 1 or do 5 and then do the top 5 of the top 20.
Wow.
Seems like a lot of effort at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
That was kind of the
Little insight as to when we're recording this episode.
Let's just list off our 5, shall we? I had 6, and the bottom 2
No,
were
5, mate.
You said the question.
Five.
Five questions, guys. Now I've got 6 to start us off with.
Oh God, just let me talk.
Yeah, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
I had
Sorry, Mustang.
I had 6, and the bottom 2 were Star Wars or porn. Like that's so because I wasn't sure if
Porn,
I wasn't
sorry.
sure if porn counted. So if porn counts, Star Wars is out.
Well, it's not really a movie
I just,
unless you're watching Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
I just
if
love.
if we have to watch it from start to finish, definitely not porn.
Yeah.
No one's ever done
You
that.
can fast forward.
I just love.
It's like Batman v Superman. You watch a little bit of it, you take a nap in the middle, and then you wake up and you're ready for round 2.
there
I
for the
just love
action
the
scenes.
idea of anyone, not that anyone's listening to this isn't a geek, but the people that look at us and the things that we like and how sad we are and how
Like
passionate we
jerking
are
off.
about these things. But the fact that you go, oh, Star Wars and porn are on the same sort of level that I'm considering them both, you know, for that last position.
Maddie, I feel like Civil War would be in your top 5
No,
because
didn't make it.
because Captain America in that helicopter scene.
Mate, if
I
I've
think
got,
that would double
if I've
up as
got-
porn.
If I've got porn, why do I need Captain America? Come on. Like,
One in the same.
no, so by five. So from the top, my number 1 pick straight away, without having to think about it, was Joss Whedon's Serenity. That was my number 1 straight
Still
away.
never seen it.
That's
No, I
fine.
mean a good movie, but you wouldn't want Firefly first?
Nah, it's fine. I can watch Serenity. And that was the thing. That was the hardest thing for me is I am much more a TV guy than I'm a movie guy. So it was a little bit hard for me to go. I could name off 5 or 6 TV shows, not a problem. But
Well, yeah.
movies was harder because it's it's a more contained story.
Mm.
But my list ended up being, no surprises, Joss Whedon, Serenity, X-Men: Days of Future Past,
Good.
Life as a House, which is the Hayden Christensen.
Why would you?
For a cry, mate. Sometimes you just feel
Hey, this is his list,
watch
all right?
Get Batman vs Superman if you want to cry.
Mate, I want to cry. I want to cry, not off myself.
Cry of hatred. Oh, shit.
But it's like you're locked in a biodome for a year. Sometimes you just want to have a cry. Life as a House will do
I
it.
feel like you'd cry just being in a biodome for a year, but I don't mind that movie. to
Mate,
be honest.
my house is a biodome. I don't remember the last time I had a house guest. And then my other one, because
You got to invite people over.
it's such a dumb movie, and it's a cheap laugh, and I can watch it on repeat without a problem. Is Ryan Reynolds Waiting?
I've still never seen that either.
Oh god,
Those trailers killed me when they came out. Like 2005. I'm like, I
it's
can't
like-
wait to
it's
watch
like
that.
him-
12 years on,
Anna
never
Faris-
seen it.
Anna
Waiting.
Faris, Justin Long. It's terrible,
Dane
but it's
Cook.
amazing. Yeah, Dane Cook as a cook.
Yep.
It's terrible, but it's a guilty pleasure comedy.
Oh, I'd put
So that's
Wedding
my
Crashers in there. Wedding Crashers is fucking great.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. Oh, yeah.
I was waiting for.
No,
a-
I'm actually writing down my own. I've got. It's only the second movie on my list, but I've got two options for it, and it is a comedy. So as you're writing about Wedding Crashers, my first of my two options is Old School.
Nice.
Every time I watch Old School, it is like the first time again.
Yeah.
Oh really?
That and Superbad are my go-to. Like, I don't watch them all the time, but whenever I watch them, I piss myself like it's the
Yeah.
first time I've ever seen them.
I've got Old School on DVD, but I can't remember the last time I pulled it out to watch it. And I never bought Superbad. I really should.
We've covered
do
this
that.
before.
Oh god.
Oh, what about Step Brothers? That's good.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's got to warm to me, that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was the same for me with Anchorman.
Yeah.
You gotta rewatch it.
I think every Will Ferrell movie.
Yeah.
The only one I reckon I've loved straight up of like since he became a big deal with Anchorman, Talladega Nights. I loved the first time I watched it. Every other movie of his, I'm like, oh, it's just a bunch of sort of sketches put together. Like Step Brothers was for me was just like
Yeah.
that idea as a sketch, 47 times.
How many have I got left?
2, 1, 2.
Shit.
Just come back to you.
Godfather Part 2.
Yep.
That's for Maddie. And Lord of the Rings.
Which one?
Which one?
Oh.
Whatever floats your boat.
Because I was the same. I
It's
was
the extended edition,
I
so.
I was the same with Star Wars. Like before I changed into porn, was either A New Hope or Return of the Jedi. I'd probably end up going
Return
Jedi.
of the Jedi,
I'd probably end up
yeah.
going Jedi.
As if you want to
But-
hear Luke whine for the first quarter of the movie over and over.
I got Braveheart.
Oh,
Sa-
you do
saving,
like your Scottish stuff though, don't
Saving Private Ryan. Yeah, I love a good war movie.
you?
Wizard of Oz, just to keep the variety up a bit.
Why not?
Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh,
God.
Love
Seven
that
Brides
movie.
for Seven Brothers. There you go. That's my
Oh,
next one.
yes. Nice pick. I was going to have porn for my fifth one, but I'm changing it. Seven Brides.
That is a porn.
I was gonna say it's not the name.
Seven
It's, but
Brothers.
it's Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. What was your fifth? Did you get to a fifth?
Yeah, I had porn, but I
Oh.
changed to seven Brides for Seven Brothers. Yeah.
Are we all in like? Are we in?
Wherever you may be.
Are we in like a,
We
uh,
ain't met yet, but I'm willing to bet you're the girl from. Never seen it.
I don't know. I got 3. I can't do it. I'm trying to think of the movies I've watched the most
Well,
in my
mate,
life.
just take 5 and don't watch 2 because that's basically your DVD collection.
You know what? That's actually not too bad. Throw any other 2 at me and I'll just write
In
them
an
down.
entire year, you'll still only get through 3 movies.
Jurassic Park. It's one of
Ooh,
my favourite
put
movies
Pulp
of
Fiction in.
all time.
Good pick.
Put Pulp Fiction and you'll never watch it.
Jurassic Park. I'm still tossing up between the 2 comedies, so maybe I should just keep both Old School and Superbad. This one's for Maddie too. So, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, so the longest one, the extended edition.
Yeah, baby.
So
You
So
could do
what's
that.
What's that got? 9 endings instead of 5?
it's got like 12. Don't.
Oh,
It'll take up
Please.
3 months of the 12.
So good.
What's your favourite 007 movie?
Yeah, I was
Mitch?
thinking about that actually. Which one? I mean, Tomorrow Never Dies kicked it off for me. Goldfinger's probably my favourite Sean Connery one.
Yeah.
License to Kill, actually. Timothy Dalton doesn't get enough credit. That is a simple movie. His best mate gets attacked on his wedding night, and 007 throws in his License to Kill and just goes for all-out revenge on a drug lord. It's awesome. I can't come up with a 5, out-and-out 5. But I don't mind that as a game, Matty, and it's fun that we actually did that. And I know we spent a few minutes on that, not actually reviewing the episode. But I actually found this episode, while in a way it felt like it dragged for as long as it went on for, it actually felt like it was a really short episode.
Yeah.
I know that's such a contradiction, but it honestly felt like it went for 22 minutes, but it was the longest 22 minutes of my life.
yeah, I think because
I only
there's-
watched it
there's-
for 22 minutes.
Because there's so much of that repeating. It's like in your mind when you're looking back, that condenses down to
Yeah.
all
Yeah, it's true.
of 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas really, it's probably 15 or 17 minutes worth of runtime doing
Yeah.
those repeats.
I just felt the wrap up was so quick. Like, even though they never went back to SG1 for real, it felt like they did. And then it's like, all right, let's go back to the planet and come on, mate, let us out. Okay. And then his people help them, let them out. They're picking
Well,
flowers.
it was kind
and
of like
credits.
Inception there for a little bit when they went back to the
Yeah.
base. Because they're like, oh,
Yeah.
And then we
We're
saw
still in
Hammond
it.
run.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was so funny.
Add him to the list of actors that shouldn't run on screen.
Yeah.
And then going back, and then when they actually did come out, Jack's like, or someone said, "Is this actually real?" I just pictured Jack just pulling out his gun and just shooting Teal'c in the leg. He'll heal, but yeah, I guess
sure
I guess
good.
it is real.
Good.
I'm sure there's some of those conspiracy theorists out there going, well, the rest of the series doesn't exist. It's all just
Yeah.
within the VR
Oh,
from
yeah.
now on.
There you go. There's our reboot idea.
Yeah, there you go.
Boom,
The-
done.
It's Richard Dean Anderson, all fat with long
Yeah.
hair, just comes out. Hey, for crying out
Nah,
loud.
he was
I'm old. Oh god, they had the project, an Australian program here. They had him on that, and God, those questions. Carrie Bickmore said, "What's your favourite MacGyver invention?" He was just like,
Oh god.
"Oh,
The
I
one that
don't
shuts
have
your
a
mouth.
favourite. I've only answered this question a gazillion times." But I guess the one where I made a plane.
That one where I escaped from Patty.
And I was just like, "You poor bastard."
That one where I escaped from Patty and Selma's apartment on The
Yeah.
Simpsons.
You can see he talks about MacGyver and he's like, yeah, it's fun. The fans like it. Talks about Stargate and it kind of gets up a bit more. And then The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Next level.
That's how you get him.
Yeah.
I'll remember that when he comes into the show at the end
Yeah.
of the year.
Yeah.
My favourite MacGyver moment was when he was in a coffin and he gets thrown into water and he transforms it into a jet ski and he jets off in the coffin.
Wow.
Sick. Yeah.
See, and
If
you
we
knock,
ever
you
do
knock
get
James
Rick
Bond.
Dean, we are not talking about MacGyver. MacGyver band.
Not a total ban.
I love
Nah.
that.
We got to ask him about the new MacGyver.
I'm
Oh,
sure he loves
God.
that. Unless he's getting royalties, he's never seen it.
Oh,
Well, just even looking down at the season box set for Stargate season 2, he's already an executive producer. I don't know if he was in season 1 or not.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was.
He was? Well,
'Cause
wow.
he's,
So,
Because that MacGyver money, baby.
yeah.
His name goes
Yeah.
above the titles in the show
for
as
that
well.
very
It's
reason.
in the credits,
Yeah.
you see panning the head, Richard Dean Anderson,
Yeah.
then the Stargate logo,
Yeah.
then all the other actors' names.
I think he speaks about that in special features about if you want to have a good time as an actor, don't become a producer. Because it's
Yeah.
I think he must be so awesome on set.
Yeah, to his credit, you see in a lot of those special features, it's like he wasn't just there for the paycheck. He
Yeah.
actually he enjoyed himself, and he
Yeah.
he made a point to make the set not take itself too seriously and have fun and enjoy the day and all that sort of stuff. He's definitely a
Having someone as a lead and a producer with that kind of demeanor,
Yeah.
that would just be so much more relaxing. You're like, oh, okay, cool. I got a little bit of time. I can get into this.
And the
It's
fact
not
that he
as
still
daunting.
does the convention circuit. Like, I know he's not working like he was, when the show was on, or 10 years ago even, but still, like, he doesn't...
well. I mean, he doesn't have to.
he doesn't
No.
need to. He doesn't need to do the
He
cons.
hasn't gone for a run since season 8.
But, he could just go to the Chicago convention. He could go to a
Yeah.
New York one. He doesn't need to go to Australia twice a year,
yeah. People
Yeah.
travel to
Yeah.
see him. He doesn't need to travel to
Yeah.
see people.
And he's very picky about his time too, and not to ruin anything for Rhys, but sort of in some of the later seasons, he sort of scales back a little bit. So it's like he has less to do in sort of certain episodes because he at the time of like season 6, 7, he had like a 3 or 4 year old daughter who was living back in LA while they were filming in Vancouver.
Oh, right, yeah.
So he's like he wants to spend time with his child in these sort of in those
It's a bit selfish.
formative years.
What about us?
So I guess
They're
he,
asleep.
obviously family must be very important to him. So I think it'd be the same sort of thing. It's like, well, why travel to Australia when he probably doesn't need the money and he
Yeah.
can spend time with his family and enjoy life.
So, okay, I've got to address this. We hinted at it last week. The new female gate technician, is she the new Walter? And if so, I don't like her already. Sarah Silverman. Like,
Poor man, Sarah Silverman.
sure, poor man Sarah Silverman. But last week she was there. It's like,
90s
okay,
voice.
someone else is pressing the buttons.
Yeah.
Whatever. She's back doing the same thing this week. No introduction, no explanation. It's just she's there. And, if we're not to know any better, Walter's gone and she's the new Walter and just pretend like she was always there.
Maybe they're on,
What the goddamn hell?
I know, right?
Maybe they're on rotation at area 52.
51.
51.
All I can say is Walter better come back soon.
Yeah, what's
Just
the
to
go?
explain where he's been.
Well, he's just
What's he been
training.
doing?
He's trying to get his own SG1 team, and he's just waiting for the results to find out if he's getting approved for this promotion.
He does write a diary, I heard.
We should. That's what.
Yeah, we'll see if we can track him down and
I
just
hope
see
so.
what he was doing in these episodes that he wasn't around, getting some kind of combat cardigan training.
Are
Just
we
ma-
fading as a group?
Yeah, yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like the
I'm
energy
just-
is down.
I'm just imagining
look,
the
let's all be
We're
real
dying.
here. There's not a lot to talk about with this episode.
Yeah, and I think that's why we're going off these other tangents. And I'm fine with that. I'm just looking forward to the coffee table book, and it's like Black Ops in a black cardigan or something, you know, the Walter stories. And then he can go on the convention sec. He's on Good Morning America, and he's telling stories, and all of it's blacked out because he can't tell any of the stories officially. You know?
Chevron 7 locked.
Come back, Gary Jones.
Volume 2.
All right, is that it? Is that it? I mean, there's not much to talk about.
Yes.
You know, again, if it was in last season, we might be grading it differently, comparing it differently. But I think for me, anyway, it's the weakest so far of season 2.
I don't know, Rhys. I don't know about you, but the first time I watched it, I enjoyed it. Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it. It was a bit different from what we've seen previously. It was a really nothing episode basically for me.
Yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't go
kind
back
of-
and watch it again.
It was almost a little bit of a rehash of last week's episode in that they get captured, and then there is the twist at the end of you don't know sort of when they're actually going to get out of the
Yeah.
virtual reality, and aren't they? But I feel like it wasn't as strong a twist.
I called that early, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it wasn't
It was
as
obvious.
strong a twist as Linnea at the end.
Yeah, I think not that I'm trying to, give us more work at the end of the season, but while we did split up season 1 into, the best 7, passable 7, and then how did you describe it, Brendan?
Shit 7.
Oh, here it is. Shit.
Worth the wait.
I told you didn't believe me.
I feel like we could do that at the end of this season. Do that again, but you'd also do a split where it could be everything and then the Expendables. Because really, you can lose this episode, not lose any story. I feel like you go in the same attitude into
This is
Prisoners.
the Emancipation episode.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah,
whoa,
no-
whoa, whoa,
Hey.
whoa, whoa,
You knew he was going to bite on that one.
whoa.
Woke him up.
Just calm down.
Like the first probably...
It's maybe a first commandment. It's a Korai. Okay? It's not a first commandment. It's a Korai. Just, check yourself before you wreck yourself when you're going to compare Gamekeeper to Emancipation, all right?
Good
Yeah.
story.
Oh, Mitchell.
Andrea!
All right, that's episode 26 of
Shut
Get
it down
Into
early.
Geek, season 2,
Get it.
episode
Get outta
4, The Gamekeeper. Next week, Maddie, episode 5 is called
Need.
Need.
The need for power.
You were
Walter.
about to say dick.
Yeah, he
About to say
was.
dick.
He was.
The need for.
Oh, come on, man.
I had to do it.
The need for more Walter. Okay?
Yeah,
The
good
need
call,
for
Mitch.
more Walter.
Yes.
Bring him
talking
back.
about.
Until then, you've got a week to see the episode. We are Get Into Gate. You can check us out, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, simply at Get Into Gates. You can send us an email as well if you want to get involved in the chat.
I just thought of something.
Oh,
The technician that's replacing Walter, what we're calling poor man's Sarah Silverman. Let's just call her Amy Schumer.
Oh,
Nah.
Mic drop!
All right, thanks for your time, Matty. You can check him out on Instagram at High Pitch Matty, I believe. Thank you, mate. Brendan,
At the Brendan Gibson on Instagram.
Rhys,
I'm at the Flying Gibson.
myself at Mitch_Lewis on Twitter and Instagram. And as I said before, I was rudely interrupted by a Matt Gibson joke. If you want to get involved with the chat,
that what it was?
Yeah, well, apparently. He did the mic drop, and that usually comes after a joke, but we'll give him a pass mark there. GetIntoGate@gmail.com. We will be back next week to talk Need. Check out all our podcasts on SoundCloud and iTunes. More Get Into Gate next week. Stargate Sundays.
GetIntoGeek.com.